The Grand Hall of the Galactic Confederation hummed with activity. Beings of all shapes, sizes, and compositions hurried about their business, a living tapestry of interstellar cooperation. At the center of it all, High Counselor Zix Ara of the Luminous Concordat presided over an emergency session. Esteemed colleagues, Zix Ara's melodious voice resonated through the chamber. The situation with the Kraxthar has escalated. Their latest incursion into the Vega sector has left 3 worlds in ruin. Holographic displays flickered to life, showing the devastation wrought by the notoriously aggressive species. Murmurs of distress rippled through the assembly. Ambassador T-Lon of the Silicon Collective spoke up, his crystalline form shimmering with agitation. This is the 4th diplomatic mission that has failed. The Kraxthar are simply too volatile, too dangerous to reason with. Perhaps a new voice interjected, "You're just sending the wrong diplomats." All eyes turned to the source. Standing at one of the lower podiums was a being many of the assembled dignitaries had never seen before. Bipedal, with a curious lack of protective exoskeleton or energy field, the creature seemed almost fragile. Zix Ara's tendrils twitched in surprise. "Ah, yes, representatives. May I introduce Ambassador Sarah Chen of Earth, was it? Their species has recently joined our confederation." Sarah nodded, a gesture that puzzled many of the aliens present. "That's correct, High Counselor. And with all due respect to my esteemed colleagues, I believe my people might be uniquely qualified to handle the Kraxthar situation." A ripple of disbelief swept through the chamber. Ambassador Kroll of the gaseous hegemony expanded in indignation. "Preposterous. Your species has barely achieved faster than light travel. What could you possibly offer in such a delicate situation?" Sarah smiled, an expression that unknowingly displayed her teeth, causing several nearby delegates to flinch. "Tell me, Ambassador Kroll, what do you know about the planet Earth?" Before Kroll could respond, Chief Scientist Elon of the Zorblaxians interjected, her brain case pulsing with excitement. "Oh, Earth is classified as a what was it? Ah, yes, a death world." The chamber fell silent. Zix Ara's tendrils coiled tightly. Surely there must be some mistake. No sentient species could evolve on a death world. "And yet, here I stand," Sarah said, spreading her arms. "Earth is a planet of extremes. Boiling deserts and freezing tundras, toxic plants and venomous creatures, tectonic instability, and atmospheric turbulence. We grew up surrounded by danger, adapted to survive against all odds." She paused, letting her words sink in. The Kraxthar homeworld. It sounds like a walk in the park compared to some places on Earth. The assembly buzzed with a mixture of disbelief and intrigue. Zix Ara raised a tendril for silence. "Even if what you say is true, Ambassador Chen, diplomatic expertise requires more than mere survival skills." Sarah nodded again. "Of course. But consider this: on a planet where danger lurks around every corner, where countless species compete for dominance, we didn't just survive. We became the dominant life form by learning to cooperate, to communicate, to resolve conflicts. We've had to be diplomats since the dawn of our civilization, negotiating with nature itself." She gestured to the holographic displays still showing the Kraxthar devastation. "You've tried reason, you've tried threats, you've tried appeasement. But have you tried understanding them? Meeting them on their own terms?" The chamber was silent, all eyes fixed on the small, seemingly fragile human who spoke with such confidence. High Counselor Zix Ara's tendrils waved thoughtfully. "You believe you can succeed where our most experienced diplomats have failed?" "I believe we can try," Sarah replied. "And frankly, what do you have to lose?" After hours of debate, the decision was made. To the shock of many and the cautious optimism of a few, a human diplomatic team would be sent to negotiate with the Kraxthar. As Sarah left the Grand Hall, she felt the weight of the galaxy on her shoulders. But there was excitement too, a thrill that ran through her veins. This is what humans were made for: facing the impossible, thriving where others feared to tread. Little did the Galactic Confederation know, they had just unleashed their greatest diplomatic asset. The Deathworlders were coming, and the galaxy would never be the same. The human diplomatic vessel, aptly named Endurance, dropped out of FTL on the edge of the Kraxthar system. Ambassador Sarah Chen stood on the bridge, her team arrayed behind her, watching as the hostile world grew larger in the viewscreen. Atmospheric composition is primarily chlorine and sulfur dioxide, reported Dr. Yuki Tanaka, the team's xenobiologist. Surface temperature averages 150 degrees Celsius. Gravity is 1.8 times Earth standard. Sarah nodded, a grim smile on her face. Sounds like a lovely spring day in Death Valley. Suits on, everyone. Let's show the galaxy what Deathworlders can do. As they descended through the corrosive atmosphere, their ship rocked violently. The Crackstar home planet was a hellscape of active volcanoes, acid lakes, and jagged metallic forests. To the watching Galactic Confederation, it was a nightmare. To the humans, it was a challenge. The moment they stepped out onto the planet's surface, encased in their advanced environmental suits, they were surrounded by Crackstar warriors. The aliens were massive, armored behemoths with multiple limbs ending in viscous claws, and they looked ready for blood. Sarah stepped forward, her voice calm as it was translated through the suit's speakers. "I am Ambassador Chen of Earth. We come seeking peaceful dialogue." The lead Crackstar, a scarred giant even by their standards, laughed a sound like grinding metal. "Peace? You stand on the homeworld of the mighty Crackstar and speak of peace. Prove your worth, soft ones, or become food for our young." Without warning, the Crackstar leader swung a massive claw at Sarah. The assembled aliens watching via transmissions gasped in horror, certain they were about to witness the diplomat's gruesome death. But Sarah didn't flinch. With a fluid motion that spoke of years of martial arts training, she dodged the blow and used the Crackstar's momentum to flip the massive alien over her shoulder. The leader crashed to the ground, stunned. Silence fell. Then, unexpectedly, the Crackstar began to laugh, a thunderous sound that shook the very ground. Perhaps the leader growled as he rose, "You are not as soft as you appear. Come, let us talk." What followed was unlike any diplomatic negotiation the galaxy had ever seen. The humans matched the Crackstar step for step in their brutal tests and trials. They endured toxic feasts, survived treacherous hunts through the metallic forests, and even participated in ritual combat. During one particularly tense moment, when it seemed violence was inevitable, Sarah surprised everyone by challenging the Crackstar leader to a human game chess. The strategic complexity fascinated the warlike aliens, and soon, debates over military maneuvers turned into heated discussions over chess strategies. As days turned into weeks, something remarkable happened. The humans' resilience, adaptability, and unique approach to problem-solving began to earn the Crackstar's respect. They saw in these small, soft creatures a kindred spirit, survivors, warriors, beings who understood the harsh realities of a universe that wanted them dead. Finally, after a month of grueling negotiations, a peace treaty was signed. The Crackstar agreed to cease their expansionist activities in exchange for trade agreements and cultural exchanges with Earth. As news of the successful mission spread across the galaxy, the reaction was one of stunned disbelief followed by wild celebration. Overnight, humans went from being seen as primitive newcomers to the most sought-after diplomats in the Confederation. Back in the Grand Hall, High Counselor Zix Ara addressed the assembly once more, but this time with Sarah Chen standing proudly at her side. Esteemed colleague Zix Ara announced, her tendrils waving with excitement, "In light of their extraordinary success, I propose the establishment of a specialized human diplomatic corps. Their unique abilities make them invaluable for handling our most challenging diplomatic situations." The motion passed unanimously. As Sarah looked out at the sea of alien faces, now filled with respect and admiration, she couldn't help but smile. "You know," she said to Zix Ara, "back on Earth, we have a saying, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. I guess living on a death world really did prepare us for the galaxy." Zix Ara's tendrils curled in amusement. "Indeed, Ambassador Chen, it seems that in your people, the galaxy has found its ultimate survivors and now, its greatest peacemakers." As new requests for human diplomats flooded in from across the Confederation, Sarah knew this was just the beginning. Humanity had found its place among the stars, not as conquerors or victims, but as mediators, problem solvers, the ones you called when no one else could get the job done. The Deathworlders had arrived on the galactic stage, and diplomacy would never be the same again. Thank you for listening to this story. I hope you enjoyed it. Be sure to subscribe and leave it a like, and I'll see you in the next one.